Pass the
Runway.
please.
Well, hello again. Welcome back to the Pass the Runway podcast featuring your hosts, Pauli.
And Fletcher.
Hell yeah. So it's been a crazy last couple weeks just in the world in general, I feel like. So hopefully this will be a nice little chance for you to relax and not think about everything that's going on outside.
Yeah, let's listen. Go and get comfy. You know, you like a blanket. If you you want to get some coffee or tea, I prefer oolong. Get whatever you want to grind. You know, schoolwork, whatever level you're playing right now, and let's let the two of us spin you a tale for a little while, okay?
Speaking of spinning tales, how cold is it down there right now?
And let me tell you, I am rocking 37 F right now, so
Oh,
not so
wow.
great.
Wow.
I imagine that's quite warm for you.
That's about where we've been sitting for the last couple weeks. We dipped below freezing, a little. Like last week, we had a pretty heavy snowstorm coming up. Actually, delayed school one day, but it's warmed up a little bit since then. But yeah, we've been rocking mid-high 30s.
As long as I go out every day. You know, when I when I feed and pet my dog, I do them at the same time. That's why I combine the word. I go over to my heating and air conditioning unit, and I just pet it. I'm just like, if you just keep that heat going through the whole winter, everything's gonna be fine. Just stay with me, okay? So that's where I'm at.
How high do you keep your thermostat?
Currently, I've got it on 72 at the moment. I usually keep it warm during the day, and then I'll bump it down at night because I've been known to use 5 quilts. I usually just rock 2 currently, but you know, if it comes down to it, I'm not afraid to just stack it. You know what I mean?
5 quilts.
Oh yeah, no, I want to be completely covered. I want to be nice and warm, like a grizzly bear in the cave. Plus, if your arm or foot's like sticking out of the blankets, like that's how the monsters get you. Duh. So I'm not about that life.
I personally, and this has been the case pretty much everywhere I've lived now. I keep it at a nice solid 69 degrees exactly.
Fantastic.
Just a little bit cool. It does end up using a bit more AC during the summer months, but then during the winter I don't need as much heat. So it balances out.
Well, that just means it's your time to cheat on that heating bill a little bit. Just stay comfortable.
Gotta save on the gas and bump up the electric just a little bit. Not like I don't use enough electricity anyway with, CRTs and all this nonsense.
Having 5 monitors going on at any given time definitely jack up the electric bill. Now, I think it's time for a little everyone's favorite. Everyone loves trivia. Everyone loves going out. Well, I did love going out to the pizza place doing a little trivia. So let's do a little right now, shall we?
Sounds good to me.
I've got in the history of Perfect Dark, there have been 2 players who, over the course of their career, have collected 58 records, like 58 unique records on the 60 stages, which means there's only 2 that they don't have.
You mean 61?
Ooh, is it 61?
Yes,
it is 60.
Yeah. you get what I mean.
Right. So 58 out of 61, and
No, 61 out of 63.
I really can't do math today. Listen, I have looked at diagrams of bones and muscles for rock and hours today. So numbers is not. It's not in the. There are no numbers in the hip.
My insinuation is that dual counts.
Oh no, I'm with you now.
Yeah.
So
okay.
So let's remix that. There are two players in history that have gotten 61 to 63, which means they're only missing two. And obviously, since I'm saying that, that's the highest possible. That's number one. Like that's the highest total. So that's two people. Can you name those two people?
My guesses here are Ace and I'm gonna say Boss. So we'll see how accurate my guess is. How good my knowledge of the elite history books is. Maybe I need to do some studying.
Well, I will say those are two very good choices to make. So we'll wrap that. We'll put it under the tree, and we'll do some unwrapping later and see if you're right or not.
Sounds good to me.
Now, let's speaking of the numbers that I struggle with, let's throw it over to you. And what have the rankings been like times for us?
Couple things to talk about. Mostly from this last week, even just the last couple days here. First thing I'll bring up is our boy Chris G continuing getting a bunch of really good times, getting the full Egypt 45 sweep. That's a nice feather in the cap to have. They're healthy times. Having gotten them earlier this year myself, they're pretty healthy.
Yeah, little Demic lockdown's a good time to play little Egypt. It seems like, because like you said, you got it now. Chris G got it.
Yeah, I was actually going for them right when lockdown happened. That was the period when I was going for him. I want to say I got Agent before things went downhill. But then SA, I got Agent at the end of February and SA about a month later. I wasn't able to play that much, but still.
So you got that. So you got the 45 sweep before the second wave that's lasted 6 months. Then? Is what you're saying?
Don't talk to me. Next up, we have which one do I want to do next? Let's do Clemens Damn 00155. Actually, an insane time for him to get.
I've heard of this kid. So obviously 155, ridiculously famous time. Still sick. Like, you still have to, even with the strat that made it a little bit easier and 154 more viable, other than just having an even more insane boost ratio, is it's just complete mastery of Damn, and really G in general, because I mean Damn Double tests many skills of a GoldenEye player.
It's a very skill intensive level. Some luck certainly, but that's just GE for you. It'll be interesting to see whether he continues on the quest for 154, as it seems he is wont to do. So we'll find out.
If I know anything about David Clemens, is that he loves any opportunity he can stick it to Mark. So I imagine that very soon we'll see even more attempts to take down 154.
Yeah, Clemens has pretty much run out of Carl Untieds to go for, so now the next in line would be Mark.
Well, there's there's technically still one on the table, but that's true. Annoying.
This is quite true. And let's see. Last time here is going to be, and I guarantee I'm going to butcher this name. Is I want to say Joachim Young. Our boy, Mr. Tire and Slayer of Runway 21 has now achieved one of my favorite times on the entire rankings, Runway 00 Agent 34. And given his current set of PRs on the level 21, 22, and 34, that puts him at untied second place on the Runway leaderboards.
When I when I saw that pop earlier, I was like, yep, Adam's gonna love this one. This one's gonna be him because I know obviously you and I are big fans of Runway 34 because it's great. So did our mate use the patented turn like you give a shit strategy?
I would assume. I actually haven't had a chance to watch the run. I'll look right now. All I need to watch is right at the third drone, and it's pretty obvious. Yep, he does. And then just a lucky ending after that is all you need for 34. Yep. One back, very nice. Wide turn to the everything, but it works out. Gets that 34 up on screen. And yeah, it's always 34 is always one of my favorite times to see tied. It is now worth 12 more points than 35. So to everyone in the early days of the RTAP strat that said getting 34 wasn't worth it when only I had it, I'm gonna strongly disagree with that. You missed out on the train, but it's interesting seeing this is the first time I have been bopped down in the leaderboard since I achieved 34. Actually, since I achieved SA22, since I got that last. But still cool to see him get it. I will always appreciate seeing someone use my patented "turn right away, you fucking idiot" strategy.
Good strategy. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice that he didn't do the BK. Oh shucks. Well, I guess I'll go to the plane now.
Yeah, I'll just run farther away down the runway. Shame.
Like my man BK ran a wheel route to the plane. I don't know why he did that. He should have just done a slant. But yeah, he did bop you down the leaderboard, but Runway 21 gives you that sort of power.
Yeah, and I cannot see myself going for 21 or honestly lower on 00, so props to him.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know if I'm in the mood to do 23, so that's where I'm at. But anyway, speaking of the second letter in 23, letter? Jesus Christ. I'm not even going to save that. I'm just going to push through it. We're just going to keep on. So, the very first run we're going to cover, and this is going to be at a bit of a blanket, it is our boy, the Prince of Snow is now one of the Kings of the Snow. Samuel Fisher, Crash PA 140. Takes down the current second longest untied, and now sweeps the whole levels. Got them all. Took them all down to took Flechr to task, and now they stand shoulder to shoulder, and just really shows you the dedication of Sam Fisher's be like when he's locked onto something. And I mean, if you followed him when he played War, you knew this about him already. But
yeah,
when he locks onto something, he clamps on to it like a bulldog, and he does not let go until he wins, and that is a quality that I admire and respect.
It seems like he is determined to push it even farther. He is currently live with PA untied attempts, so it'll be interesting to see what can come of that.
If he were to untie it while we were in the middle of speaking in this manner, I would absolutely hate it. Man, I don't know. I'd be beside myself. Sam Fisher, listen, don't do it. Don't make me upset. I don't know what I'll do.
Just looking at his stream layout, it appears that he has duped 140. So he has 140 parentheses 2 next to his PV. So apparently he's mad enough to have gotten it a second time. So who's to say what'll come next?
That's my guy. If he's already got 2, it's in the bag. I wonder if I don't know if he's busy or not interested in playing, but I wonder if Flechr's already jumped on the train to like try to get it back. It's possible.
I could see him doing that, trying to maintain his records. The FFSF sweep chilling on a crash site right now. I could see Flechr potentially jumping in there trying to get something back.
I mean, if Sam Fisher's already got parentheses 2, then he's going to have to get rocking soon, or otherwise the colors may be the same, but they'll be inverted. You know what I mean?
Quite a lot of potential there for that to happen. Yeah.
I think we'll see it sooner rather than later. That would be my smart money bet. Now, the next time we're going to cover is our guy from the UK, Time Splitters, Dabbler, Envy, playing the DDR stage known as Defection Agent, scooping up the 5, banking it in. Doesn't have to play that level ever again unless he plays RTA, which, you know, I mean it's really not that common for PD. RTA is really not that common for whatever reason, but you know,
yeah.
Shout outs to my guy getting the 5, and if it wasn't just an absolute staple time at this point, like I think 3 or 4 or 5 people have gotten it this year, like it's quickly becoming a requirement on your page. So.
Yeah, we're sitting at a clean 26 people have achieved it. Not counting people that are probably hoarding it, knowing that everything's being hoarded these days.
I'm sure that BK's hoarding like 1,000 Defection 5s that he got because
yes,
there's something wrong with him. But you know, regardless. Okay, so I've got some good news and some bad news about this Defection 5. Which one do you want first?
Oh, let's say bad news. Get the negativity out of the way.
Okay, so the bad news is that this 5 was achieved with D-pad.
Okay. Please tell me the good news is good.
He got it with 1.4, which I know you appreciate.
Okay. That's like if I was just gonna give like a blank rating, like 1 to 10, the D-pad is definitely like a -4, but 1.4 is a solid 10. So that ends him up with a 6, which is probably just a round up there. So
good. So I was wondering if it was. I was wondering if 1.4 was going to be good enough to make it a net positive instead of a net minus.
I would say it is, as someone that has 2 GoldenEye world records achieved with 1.4. It's a control style that's pretty close to my heart.
Indeed, yes, indeed. So, you know, good job to Envy, even though like using the N64 D-pad is like trying to like play with the N-gauge in general. Like I don't. It feels like holding a marshmallow. I just don't understand. But, however, the only thing that matters is that it works.
That's true. Just matters what the end screen says.
Doesn't matter how you got it. Doesn't matter what the decimal was. All that matters is what the time says it is.
Indeed.
So, that's my guy. Now, let me tell you about another guy of mine. However, I've got some bad news for you. This wasn't achieved with 1.4 or a D-pad, but
tragic.
It is quite it is quite disgusting because you know, our guy and SM64 specialist Parakusha got pelagic to Agent 38 because something's wrong with his brain. I don't know how you could farm blind buttons that long and that hard to get that. But he's got a time I wish I could have. So
fair.
I think it's pretty sick, disgusting, and amazing at the same time. So what I'm saying is it's art. So I appreciate it.
Yeah. It's always fun for me to see these players come in from other games who are like quite good in their respective communities, like Parakusha and SM64 and Ricky and like a bunch of things. And see them really succeed in GoldenEye Perfect Dark. It's always it's cool for me to see. It gets the games a lot more exposure, I feel like.
For sure. And he definitely has the because you look at this 38 and then you look at Paris times on CI. He definitely brings over, and we see this when people come over from a RTA centric game to an IL one, they'll
Mhm.
end up picking an IL and they'll grind that one into powder before moving on instead of dabbling around.
Yeah.
So that kind of mentality is, well, it's great for everyone, but especially for agent where the margins are so tiny, especially at the
True.
higher end.
True.
So there's no chance that mentality and that mindset didn't help him just be like, oh, I got 39, but it could be 38, 37, and just keep on going for it.
Mhm.
I don't know if he'll do it in the near future because well, I can't read his mind. I'm just me. I'm my entity. I don't know what anyone else, energy in the universe is doing. But if he got 38 like that, 37's obviously on the table for him. So I would be keen to see him get it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that brings us to the end of the rankings. Now we can talk a little bit about recent events, and we just finished up earlier today the 4th Elite Community Marathon.
Oh yes, indeed. One of my it's like one of the highlights of the year for me. I really love the community marathon, and I do this. I don't mean to, but I do this every year where I'm like, oh, I'll submit 2 or 3 things, and then I end up doing like 7. I don't know how I keep doing that, but it's just one of my personal favorite events. I love getting involved in it.
We'll definitely have to look into setting up Link to the Past rando with the two of us. Some like shared world co-op thing I think would be quite fun.
I'm sure that'll be nice and chaotic. I'd love to get down in that because I didn't, this time you ran it. The last season I had a race, and the one before that I ran it. So this time it was just you. So coming back with a rando, I think it'd be good, and maybe between the two of us, it won't take forever to find all the key items.
The randomizer that I completed the other day, my first LTTP rando ever, I believe it took me about 4.5 hours, and I would probably say about an hour of that was spent not knowing what to do. So I can probably be a bit more efficient if I have a better idea of where the hell I'm going and what I need to get done.
Usually knowing what you're doing helps you know what you're doing. So I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the next couple randos you do will the time probably cut in half. It'll be a lot more successful.
Yeah, even just knowing where all the chests are, like where I need to check, because a lot of the dungeons, like, I just know the speedrun strats like really well. So there are plenty of rooms that you don't see and plenty of chests you don't even bother getting close to or opening. So figuring out where all those were, again, took a fair amount of time.
Yeah, because like you said, I mean, over half of the dungeons, like you don't even load those rooms, and there's definitely chests in there. You probably found chests you weren't even sure existed.
I definitely found a couple that I had completely forgotten existed.
How many runs did you catch at the marathon? Did you anything stick out to you that you enjoyed particularly?
I'm trying to remember what I actually managed to see. I didn't manage to watch that much. I watched Dusky's golden or Perfect Dark Agent run because that preceded my Link to the Past run. And I watched a tiny bit of your match play with Zella afterwards. I actually don't even know who won.
Zella ended taking that one home because, we ended up in a ridiculous scenario where, Ruins was worth 4 points, right?
Yeah.
So I got that, and it was, let's see, I'm trying to do the math here really quick. So it was 9-8, and then we both failed MBR, and then we both failed Mayan. So it came down to War Agent, and since it had been like 3 million decades since I played War Agent, I did boost and I rubbed every wall, and then the door jammed for like an hour, and I was like, yeah, I'm cooked.
Tragic. Absolutely tragic.
he won on War Agent because, well, I was hoping we'd play Essay, but he banned Essay because he was like I'm cooked. I need out of here because I banned War PA because I was like I do not want to deal with this crap.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
My one of the highlights are lowlights, if you ask Dusky, is Jono was playing this ridiculous Tokyo Extreme Racer game where so you just ride around the same map in a circle and you face cars and you beat them so you pass them, and as you're ahead of them their HP meter depletes and vice versa. So you just have to take down all your rivals like that, but all the cars had insane names like Black Midnight and Natural Born Soldier and Smile Zero Yen.
Good.
My personal favorite was Professor Taka. That one took me out. So now when I see Taka like tweet or like post a time, so I was Professor Taka. So that's just in my head now.
He should update his rankings name.
Good. But overall, yeah, ECM was great. Love it as usual. Can't wait for the next one.
Yep. Always a good time. Always a good time. Speaking of good times, there's been quite a few of them recently in LTK land. So many that we end up with a brand new Perfect Dark License to Kill Rankings champion, which is yours truly, Pauli.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. How did you do it?
I many years of grinding, and eventually at some point you have to go for the records. You have to go for the untieds, and with several newer strategies, especially for consistency, in recent months, I was able to grab quite a few PD LTK untieds, notably the G5s, some infill. The classic rescue times. Rescue is my favorite level.
Yes.
So,
to pull that off, you had to take out some 1,000+ day old records that boss had. So what was your mentality going into those sorts of tasks?
Sometimes you just overcommit to a bit and you're just at a loss for words.
Trust me, I know about overcommitting to a bit. So tell you what, I'm gonna continue the bit for you if you mind.
Yes, please take it away.
Okay, so it just the combination of it took some dedication and some work and just knowing that, like, believing in the strat that you came up with, even though obviously it's LTK, so 90% of the runs you're just getting shot in the baby toe and dying, and you can understand how in the wrong mindset that could be quite annoying, but through work, managed to flip some records, and some were harder than I thought, and some were a little bit easier than I thought, but that easier obviously comes with a caveat, because it's like, oh, if this strategy completes, then the pace is like 10 times easier, but the chances of dying are 100 times higher.
Yeah, I remember watching your extraction runs in particular with super fast basements.
Yeah, the one where you run by the 4 guys by the elevator, and it's just like, well, they technically give you patterns where they just don't hit you. However, you're not guaranteed to get them every other time. So.
Yeah.
But it's nice to it's nice to go click on LTK and you see all the gold on the ceiling. Like you see.
That's true. It's nice. It's nice seeing a healthy dose of old hashtag F41s or what is it? F4EC1A, whatever I think that's right. Is that right?
I believe that's right. I do always
enjoy how it is. F4EC1A.
You have my rankings color memorized, and I barely remember it starts with F. So,
F5D,
at least I have
F5D, shit, I forgot mine. F5D 359? 239. F5D 239, that's right. F5D 239 for me, and then F4E C1A for you.
Right. So, all I'll say is shout outs to Flechr, Icy Boss, who are just the triumvirate of LTK gods, basically. Just changed the game in a modern sense, and obviously helped me along the way. It was calling back to what you said a minute ago. It was a bit that I took way too far, because originally LTK for me was just like, oh, it's this cool thing. I want to see if I can complete them all, and then it turned into let's see if I can make them better. Oh, let's see if I can get a record, and then it turned into
and then let's just get the champion spot. Why not?
Again, sometimes you work yourself into a shoot and you take the bit too far, but
I mean, props to you for committing to the bit. Not an easy bit to commit to.
If you don't commit to the bit, no one else will buy it, so it's not a good bit. So you just have to go all in. I'll just say, thanks to anyone who helped me along the way. We'll see if we can get a couple more, and I think it's great. I do realize that obviously LTK is a niche of a niche of a niche of a niche. So, because speedrunning in general is a niche, and then
yeah. I'm following.
Right. So obviously, 95+% of people don't know or not interested or don't really care about LTK, and I think that's totally fine and cool. That being said, I'm pretty proud that I managed to accomplish that, which I never thought I would. Didn't even conceive until a couple months ago, and I think it's really cool. So, shout outs to me. I give myself the gold star.
Hey yo, there you go. Now it's time for everyone's favorite soundbite and the forum recap.
All right, little recap.
Ugh.
The boys
So
of
first
elite.
and foremost, we've got a little bit of action on the Turbo ranks, one of the longest standing meme leagues, and Henrik getting a Train Agent Turbo 48. Which is just a very silly looking run, given Turbo and Train and the fact that Henrik's a literal god when it comes to that level.
The Wizard of Train does it again.
Exactly. I believe there were some issues of some of his runs getting blocked or removed from YouTube. Keeps getting hashtag canceled, but it seems like the run is back up again, so that's good.
Yeah, I'm not sure, because the last 2-3 videos he's uploaded, they just mysteriously vanished. I'm not sure what's going on with that, or if they're if they're just targeting Henrik specifically, or if they're just no, this train gameplay is disgusting. we just have to take it down.
I like to think of some YouTube moderator just sitting there. This new video comes rolling, and he's like, nope, just deletes it.
He's actually in secret. He's been grinding Train Turbo forever, and he just sees Henrik just randomly get it, and he's just furious. He's just pounding the desk. He's like, no, get this vid off the internet now.
This will be my one shot at glory. I will get a Train Agent Turbo untied. Poor YouTube guy.
So someone's running the counter op on Henrik's YouTube. At least that's what I want to think.
A little bit of spy work happening here. So here's the next one. This was there's been some pretty good posts in the in FFA the last couple weeks, including the topic posted originally by Happens: who would win, a trillion lions or the sun? Did you vote on this poll? I'm not sure you did. No,
I did not. However, not for nothing. A trillion lions is a lot of lions.
It is a lot of lions. And someone brought up a good point. What if the lions attack at night?
Now, I'll admit, I did actually like laugh out loud when I read that.
I definitely did as well.
That was a great quote. It was like, what if they attack at night? And then I laughed and I was like, he's got a pretty good point.
Yeah, brought Fanny out of the dark to post just to say that he appreciated it.
Can you imagine? There's just a trillion lions posted up on the plains of Africa, and it's night, and they're just roaring. They're like, "Come out, son, you coward!" Just begging for the sun to come out.
Fight me! Come on, dude, fight me! You won't. You're scared.
You won't.
Oh. So I got a laugh out of that. And then we have part 6 of the Fellas series of posts. So this one poised by JD, asking what your favorite type of apple is.
Yeah, I've been following the Fellas series for a while. I'm curious to see where it's going to go from apples.
Who knows?
What did you voting on this?
I'm a Honeycrisp guy personally.
Can I let you in on a secret? I too am a Honeycrisp guy, so we're on the same page here. I'm with you.
My fun fact involving me and apples. Well, not really me, more of a relative. My grandfather owns and operates a small apple orchard, and they get a pretty good crop every year. And he's got a couple Honeycrisp trees, and that's good stuff. They make applesauce, and sell the apples raw as well. It's good stuff. Highly recommend.
Apple juice or a cider going?
I'm not sure they've done cider with it. I don't think they've definitely done. They've definitely done just the raw apples, applesauce, and then they use it. They use the apples for pies and the family favorite apple crisp.
What is this apple crisp?
So apple crisp is basically you make apple pie filling, and that goes on the bottom of the pan, and then over top of it you add a crust of essentially granola and cinnamon. So it's quite good. I prefer crisp to pie any day.
I may have to do some investigation on this apple crisp because that sounds like it would be a new experience for me. I have not encountered this. I'm more used to the pie.
I would highly recommend crisp to anyone, especially if it's made well. And both my grandmother and my father have developed slightly different recipes for it, and both of them are just fantastic.
Speaking of apples, not for nothing. It's getting to be because we're marching through December. We're getting closer to Christmas, which means that my mother's about to make the apple cider with the cinnamon, and that's about the bang. I love that.
My family, there's an orchard in Laurelville, Ohio, and my family will often drive to Laurelville, which is not a short distance by any means, just to get some of their cider because it's just so good. I have a half gallon sitting in my fridge here, in Finland, but it's good stuff.
With that hot cider when it's cold outside, man.
We like to freeze ours and get just a little bit of slush in there.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, I could see that working out real good actually.
It's good stuff. I'm a big apple guy. I like apple everything.
Yeah, apple and cinnamon is two things I'm a pretty big mark for. So I'm all in.
Very much agree with that statement. All right. Well, moving past apples into the weekly discussion, there's going to be an LTK Winter League.
Really now.
Mm.
Will be that's going to be something else. So as with any other league, we get the word out. We get the word out a month in advance, and captain up. We get some people, and we're going to run captain plus team of 3, and make it over the month of January, and we'll see where it goes. This is obviously plenty of normal leagues have been attempted, but this is the first time that I think any other league has been attempted, but definitely the first time an LTK league has been attempted. So hopefully we can make it work, and it's something that everyone can enjoy. What would you like to be eliminated about it? Maybe I can clear up for you if you're not sure about anything.
I will say I do like the idea of smaller teams. I feel like that's pretty much mandated.
I think so because, obviously, a lot of, most people have never dabbled in it, and, rightfully so, like, wouldn't be interested in it just out of the box. So, obviously, smaller teams would be good, and since it's the first time we're running and we don't know how it'll play out, it being shorter is more optimal than like say, when I couldn't run it for 2 months. I don't think it would stretch that far.
Yeah, no, I think the shorter length is going to fit too.
We'll see how it goes, and hopefully, because the idea of it, right, is to, we're presenting a fun, friendly competition where people will be. It's just like regular league where it's like, oh, like it's both games, so you don't normally play the other game. You just try and dabble in it and for fun and help your team, and then if you like it, then you can stick with it, because obviously for people who don't normally play PD and for people who don't normally play GE, it's kind of inarguable that league promotes the other game for people who don't normally play it, and it's successfully made. Like, there are people playing GE now, playing PD now that never did, never would, and it turns out there's like, oh, this thing I've never done before, I actually like it. So it's that's kind of an inarguable influence at this point. So would it happen where we play LTK League and all of a sudden there's like 2, 3, 4, 5 new people that are just like, oh, I really like this, I'll mess around with it? Maybe not, but we could certainly give it a try and see.
Yeah
Because it's just like anything else where it's like, people look at Turbo or like Ophos or something, and they're just like, what a meme, that's so silly. And then they try it a couple times, and it turns out like, oh, they really like the meme. Oh, I want to play this a little bit more. This is fun, So they may not go ham on it to, be like the Turbo champion or whatever, but they got the stages they like, and they like Turbo, so just combine the two, make a nice little PBJ.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see if there's enough player interest really to fill all 6 teams.
Well, judging from what I've seen posted in the forum and talking to people, it seems like there's plenty of people that would play and dabble in it. I'm not sure how many people are interested in being captains, because currently we have 2. Like, we have Icy and Sam Fisher, and I soft set it at 8. I wasn't sure if we would get 8, and if we don't, like, I can just if we get like 4, 5, 6, we just we can cut it down like I did for one summer league where we took out a couple teams and made the roster size bigger, because there's enough interest to fill 24 player slots. Making it full teams like League where it's like 50 people, I didn't think we would get that, so that's why I reduced like the roster size, because I thought it would be a little more intimate.
Yeah.
But I think there's enough player interest there to like make like a decently sized league, even if it's not 50, 60 players interested like always is for summer league. But I mean, that's to be expected.
Yeah, and it's a weird part of year. I know, at least for me, like I'm not that interested in LTK League anyway, just personally. But like I'll be busy teaching. Like I have a job that I'll be working through January, whereas with Summer League, I'm essentially off of school, and especially anyone who's currently a student, college or younger, um, January could potentially be a much busier time than June and July typically are.
Right. So that also lends credence to like, oh well, so we'll make it shorter and we'll make it a little more accessible. So it's not just a big gravity well in your life. It's like, oh well, I should if you have other things to do, and of course, like if you got other stuff going on in your life, like you shouldn't be shouldn't be playing a game like 6 hours a day anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that goes without saying, but well, I think it'll be good because it's good to have more options. It's like obviously every summer like we'll run like the big main league for both games until like the wheels fall off and no one wants to do it anymore, which might take some time because everyone seems to love it. But so that covers summer, and then spring everyone's definitely in school or work, etc., and same for fall in like normal circumstances. And obviously with abnormal circumstances things are even more complicated. So I just figured this would be a nice change of pace to do it in the wintertime, just to give people a different flavor, because if it's successful and it shows that people are willing to play different kind of leagues other than just the main one, especially if they're shorter, then that opens the door for like, oh, we could do like creative events, like we could do like a 2 week long like turbo event or something fun like that, or like a 2 week long like cheats league. But to be willing to do that, I have to like you have to test the viability of an alternate league even being a thing. And so that's that's partially riding on this, to like see if there's interest in alternate leagues. And obviously like I'm a personal fan of LTK, so like I want it to succeed. And I think however many we get, I think it'll be fun like regardless, but if we manage to fill it up and everyone's just all in, like that's just a bonus.
Yeah, I've definitely thought about like an Ophos league just because it's close to my heart as the progenitor of the league. But it'd be weird to implement just because like as far as like point rankings go, like everything would just be completely blown up because like it's hard to get worse than like 90 points. And so many records are so optimized. It's a much different landscape.
So for that, I mean, you couldn't even really do points. I don't think you'd have to just use an entirely different rule set, I would imagine.
Yeah. I've thought about it, but the longer I can stay Ophos champion, the better it works for me. So
keep it a little underground. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Keep keep it a little quiet. Walk me through. When I originally looked through this post, I didn't quite fully understand the checklist. Walk me through that.
Okay, so what we would have done is this is sort of, I don't want to say gimmick, because I mean it sort of is a gimmick, but some people think gimmicks are bad and it has a negative connotation for some reason. I don't know why. But what's interesting about this is, so we've reasonably tiered the difficulty of completing the level, not the world record, because first of all, you know how I feel about that, but then again, the second part is how strong LTK records are, or even like there's even more factors and X, Y, and Z's to solve for, and it's just harder to like determine, like, so like you're just like, what's the tier? If you're like, what's the tier 3 LTK records? I don't know. I couldn't quantify that, and I play the damn thing, so it's really hard to like rank the records in that manner. So is how difficult they are to like reasonably complete, like, even playing safe and like knowing like the safety strats that are available. So obviously, like the dirt easiest is like you could complete both duels first try without dying. Now you may not get 9s, but you could just complete them without dying. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're really easy completions.
And the hardest would be Silo and Train on DLTA. I don't think anyone would disagree with either one of those. And then the closer you get to the middle going in both directions, it sort of gets more subjective. But the point is, so we've tiered them in terms of completion difficulty. So when someone posts a PR, and in many cases for people, it'll be their first ever completion. Based on how difficult it was to complete the level, we'll award a bonus for completing the stage. And then if you want to keep playing the stage after that, that's fine. But you only get the bonus for completing it or PRing on it the first time. But if you get the record, or you untie the stage, then we'll give you another bonus, again based on how difficult it was to complete it. So for example, like on the easiest, so for like dual LTK, so the easiest, so just for completing it, you'll get the points, you'll get whatever points you would get on the rankings, but for a bonus you get nothing. But since you got 9, it's kind of unfair to like give you nothing. So if you get dual LTK 9, we'll give you 100. And then the flip is, so if you complete Silo DLTK, first of all, you're ridiculous. But second of all, we're going to give you 5,000.
Yeah.
And if you somehow on that completion you untie the stage, give you another 5,000. So I think that's pretty fair to me.
I mean, yeah, you could. I could totally see a couple players like just vying for those super hard completions to get the huge payouts.
Because things like like Damn DLTK and like Escape they're tier 3, so they're pretty difficult, but they're not impossible. And since they're tier 3, that's 1,500 just for completing it. So the idea is if you got a fresh page, you'll just want to pick up the easy completions and stack bonuses that way, along with the completion. But if you're a middle tier, higher tier player who's already got some seasoning on them, you may want to go for the harder ones, because even if you've got a time, if it's not that good, all you have to do is PR, and then hey, like you get a nice 2,500 bonus, 1,000 bonus, 1,500 bonus. And then since you're a vet, you can go get the easy ones whenever you want, because to you, like it's no problem.
So
now
these full bonuses, like completing all the PDLTK levels, for those that already have some PRs, do they have to beat their old PRs for it to count?
They would have to beat all of their PRs for them to count, yes.
Okay.
And I was wondering how I should do that, but I mean, the only way to like implement it was to either make it to where they had to PR on them all, or just not do a bonus for all entirely, which you could do that. I didn't want to, but you definitely could, because if I don't do it that way, there are situations where, say someone has all the LTKs completed except one, and they're like, oh, I'm in league, I'll just go do that one, and then I immediately get the bonus for my team. So I didn't think that was entirely fair. So I opted to not go that route. So the other thing is, because this is why balancing games are so difficult, especially when it's the first time you're doing it and you have no data. The completion bonus always made perfect sense to me. It was what to do with the world record and untied bonus thing that I was kind of struggling with, and ultimately I just I decided to like play it safe and just make, oh well, we'll re-give you the tier bonus just for the record, and you can only get those once, because it was the balancing act of, okay, how could I fairly reduce like a repeating world record bonus? Because on the one hand, I want to see the great players that are playing, like, if they want to just play a stage and they untie it 3-4 times, like, that's great. I want to see that. But then, like, I don't want to make it to where it demoralizes the 99%, because they're already good and they crank out 3-4 records in like 5 days, and they're just like, oh well, even though they wouldn't be that far behind, because I think the completion bonuses are balanced, like, to the point where they could just, by sheer volume, they could get back there. But since I don't know how it'll play out, it's just kind of scary to, like, just throw it out there, because I don't want to see the system be broken in like 3 days. So I'll have to play it safe, even though, like, I feel like it may be better to just say, like, okay, if you get this record, if you get the record the first time, we'll give you this, and then the second time, like, say, like, oh, like, cut it in half or like by a third or something, and then just give it diminishing returns in that regard. But I just couldn't pull the trigger on it, so I opted to play it safe, and I guess we'll see how it plays out. And then, of course, I'm pretty open and flexible, like, with my rule set. So if I see something's not working, I'll just I've got no problem saying, like, hey, my bad, guys, it didn't work. I'll definitely change it. So I've been willing to do that in the past, and that has not changed.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these things is just like the way you set up your system for scoring is often going to set up how things are prioritized, and we've seen that with Summer League. Like, a couple years ago, like, you got a bonus multiplying whatever points you got. You just got an extra ×2. So if you got a 1-pointer, you got 2 points, and then if you improve that 1-pointer to a 50-pointer, then you got 100 points. And that blew so many points out of the water due to people just going from 0s to 80s in a day. Really, I don't want to say gaming the system, but getting a ton of points just made things, the disparity, a bit worse. And then we were changing the priority now with this last Summer League, where it's just a flat bonus for getting a PR. So people would just try to PR by a second, or just even get a 1-point time, and then they'd stop for the day. They wouldn't try to get a better PR. So we're just changing the priorities, changing different things, and that will inevitably result in a different outcome for the players. So I'm curious to see what we get out of this. And just thinking from my relatively outsider perspective when it comes to LTK, I think we're going to see a ton of people grabbing completions and moving on to the next stage, because just looking at this, like, the tier 5s, I personally have Silo LTK and Caverns LTK completions. I wouldn't consider them that terribly difficult. And just doing that's 1,600 points right there. On top of whatever the times are actually worth. I think we're going to see a lot of very high scores here.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be lots of fireworks and high scoring, and that is by design. I did want it to be that way, just to see, like, because if we make the scoring, like, exaggeratedly high, then I think it should reveal like, where the weaknesses are and the errors are, because it would be greatly exaggerated. So you could see it a lot better. Like, if a gap was like 400, then you wouldn't notice it as much as if the gap was like 4,000. Then you could see, okay, something didn't work here.
I think it'll be interesting to see what disparity pops up out of this. I could very well see a team winning by a huge margin.
See how it goes, because some, because you can look at them and argue, like, oh, like, I wouldn't have the level like that high in difficulty, have a little bit lower and balancing it like that. But the majority of people like coming in fresh, and especially if they make the mistake on their team of not having someone who's reasonably like LTK experienced, they just basically be going in blind and dry, and that would make things harder than that would make things definitely harder than you would think on paper. Because for example, like so you look at tier 6, you see like G5 agents on there, and like that's not G5 agent, G5 LTKs on there, like that's 600 now. For someone like me, like I could do G5 LTK every time, like no problem. But some people like you just drop them in and say, all right, go. Like how long will it take them to like get it right, figure it out, like figure out the tricks? Because most of the LTK levels you have to play them completely differently out, with the advent of like, oh, I take a bullet and I die, so you can't really mess around. So without proper like planning or strats, it'll be interesting to see how some of the fresh people like figure things out.
Well, I think it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out, and obviously we'll be able to discuss in future how it went, how things went.
So I'm I'm cautiously optimistic about it. I think it'll be good. I just hope it's not like completely. I hope it's not completely broken. But if it turns out that it is,
Fix it for the next round.
Yeah, for sure. You can just see like, oh, well, that aspect didn't work. Let's adjust it, and then the changes from 2 summer leagues ago to the last one was a success. So we can just make the adjustment here, and I think it'll be just fine.
Time saved for next league.
That is the mantra, after all.
All right. Well, anything else you want to say about that? I think we've pretty well covered everything.
I'd just like to say, if you're interested, don't, even if you're interested and you're not sure what you're doing, like it's okay. Like if you want to sign up to be a captain, we'll help you out along the way. Like it's just gonna be a fun time. Just a new thing for most people. We'll just mess around, and you might learn something or you might not, but we'll have fun together.
Speaking of having fun together, it's time to talk a little bit about other games, and this is a good segue. If I explain myself well, gonna talk just a little bit about speedrunning content lately. There's a new YouTube channel that popped up called Lowest Percent, and I'm still mystified by the channel a little bit. I don't know like who exactly is running it, but I think they've released 5 or 6 videos now, and essentially all of the videos have been discussing different slightly niche speedruns in popular games, and it is the runners themselves presenting the information. So there was a low percent Twilight Princess video with Gymnast explaining the entire thing, talking about the speedrun where Link just holds a rupee and his idle animation slowly makes him move backwards and can clip through things over the course of like 7 hours. Which actually is a run people have done, by the way. Then there was there's a video with Linkus. There was a Minecraft speedrun video with Ant Venom. There was, what else was there? Super Mario Odyssey minimum captures with Small Ant. So a ton of huge names in the speedrunning content community, at least, have all kind of collaborated here with this channel. And again, I have no idea if this is like a huge collaboration, like the channel's not owned by anyone in particular, or like it's owned by some random guy and he just brings in all these other runners. I have no clue.
Okay, so it sounds like, judging from the content you've said and the name, So this is almost an accumulation of low percent speed runs, and the people who know about them, they come on and they
It
they
appears
present.
it appears that it's a collab between Small Ant and Linkus. They appear to be in charge of the channel.
Oh, interesting. I will. That sounds really interesting. I'm gonna have to go. I'll go pop a sub there right now, just so I'll put a pin in that, and I'll have to investigate that. That sounds super interesting.
There's every video they've put out so far has been fascinating. It's not all been low percent stuff. Mostly, several of the videos have been low percent oriented, but it all just seems like good speedrunning content, and I happened to randomly stumble upon it. And I mean, yeah, they've had Small Ant and Linkus are obviously the people running the channel, at least based off their Twitter. But they've also brought in Lunatic, Gymnast, and Ant Venom now. So,
And also, damn 52.
So shout out to them. That's one to look out for.
My watch later has been getting quite big lately because I've been busy studying. So it just sounds just like another channel to cram in there. So thank you.
There's only 5 videos right now, so should be a pretty easy watch.
Oh, all right. So it's not like 13. Okay, so I'm not sweating anymore. I'll relax. Okay.
No, just if you get on top of it now before they actually start uploading more, you should be good. Should be good.
I will definitely check that out.
Another thing to look and check out, Abney getting the Yoshi's Valley 3-lap shortcut record, 27.73. This beats the oldest standing record in Mario Kart 64, originally achieved in 2010.
Listen, especially because of this year, 2010 was 10 years ago. It feels like 35.
Yeah, set by Alex G on November 27th, 2010, and then it was 0.76 originally, and then tied by VAJ, Greg, and Abney throughout the 2010s. This was the oldest standing record in Mario Kart 64 in either category, so pretty wild.
To get that extra frame out, I'm assuming that there wasn't even like he didn't do like a new strat. He just like beasted it and scraped out that extra frame.
There's a video explaining the entire thing. I want to say Carl did it. It was either Carl or Goose that talked about it. It actually might have been Goose now that I think about it. Goose tends to do the Mario Kart stuff. Or was it Carl? I'm going to use my powers of internet search to find out.
I subscribe to the conspiracy that those two are the same person.
It is Goose.
What do you think?
It's Goose. Goose did the video 2 months ago. Is Mario Kart 64's oldest world record beatable? Yes. It is.
That's a spoiler.
Yeah. So, cool to see that. Another big world record recently. I follow ZFG pretty closely, so when he drops a record, I tend to notice. But Ocarina of Time 100%'s fallen again to 3:23:55, which I believe is a 5-minute cut from Glitchymon, who set a record a little bit before him. Using the new 100% route that they've set together, and just as a brief overview, the big thing that was discovered to cause the route change from what was already an insane route, they figured out a way to warp anywhere as adult, not just as child. So it's basically 3.5 hours of crazy setups and crazy shit to just teleport Link all over the place, like, constantly. It's actually just wild to watch.
I remember my grandfather sitting me down. He said, son, 3 things in life is death, taxes, and new Ocarina of Time exploits. So, really, at this point, you can't even be surprised. Just ZFG again flexing complete mastery of OOT Hundo. just, I mean, it's just there. You don't have to say anything. It's on paper. You read it. It's there.
Yeah.
Bam.
If you're curious and want to check out what the run looks like, ZFG put together a low optimization tool assisted demonstration, or LOTAD for short, on his YouTube. It is commentated as well, so he explains a lot of the things that are happening. And that LOTAD actually clocks in at sub 3 hours.
So what? Obviously, what you're saying is he got 323, but we're not done.
No, I believe he doesn't quite see sub 3, but I believe he does see sub 320. He was on a run the other night. I was watching it in the background as I was doing something else, and he was 7 minutes ahead. It should also be noted, this 320, 355 has, I believe, 17th try Dampe.
Classic.
Which is the highest number of Dampe tries ever in a 100% world record. So on this run the other day, he was ahead by, I want to say, about a minute, and then he got first try Dampe, so he was suddenly 7 minutes ahead. Unfortunately, that run died a painful death, as the current route is very prone to crashes. There are a ton of like unit perfect setups that he has to do, all this crazy stuff. Very easy to soft lock, very easy to crash, and unfortunately, that did happen in that run. So we could definitely see something in like the mid 310s here pretty soon. He's been grinding away. I believe he's live right now with attempts.
Again, he might say that he doesn't see sub 3 yet, but I know by Christmas morning there will be 17 new exploits found in the so we'll see where those get us. It may get us over the line.
Yeah, there is going to be a point where there's just too much to do in a 100% run, because one of their big distinctions with route categories is that there is source requirement and no source requirement. And so no source requirement means that you can get any of the items from anywhere. So if there's some glitch that you can use to get all 100 gold skull tokens in one spot really quickly, then you're allowed to do that, and that's fine. And the world record for no source requirement 100% is somewhere in like the 30-minute range, due to all this crazy shit that's been found lately. However, the main category that has been run is source requirement, which means that he is allowed to get items not from source to speed up the run, but eventually he has to get every item from its source. So like Boomerang, he has to get from Jabu at some point. He can get Boomerang from various glitches to speed up the run, but he does still have to pick it up. So eventually there's just so much stuff that has to be picked up, most notably the 100 gold skull tokens, that there is going to be some sort of hard cap on just how fast you can go.
And that hurts my head. So he uses the glitch to get the item, but then he still has to go pick up the physical item in its like regular location.
Yeah, so in very basic terms, at the beginning of the run, he picks up a butterfly, moves it, which gives it the property of a chest, launches a bomb chew across a wall, and has everything set up in such a way where the bomb chew combined with the butterfly gives him an item on every frame based on the location of the bomb chew, which allows him, with a certain stream of bomb chew positions, to get a ton of items like really quickly. Which basically means that with like very quickly he can get a ton of items that speed up the run. Obviously not getting them from source yet, but then he can go and get them later. But it's faster because he already has all the stuff that goes fast.
Well, I know that when springtime comes back around, when I see a butterfly, if I can turn it into a treasure chest, I'm definitely gonna try to catch it. So that's all I'm gonna say.
So yeah, if you're interested, definitely check out the Lotad. Highly recommend. Another thing in a Zelda game recently, and this one, unfortunately, I don't understand as well because Zelda 2 is not a very good game. Granted, I have beaten it 100%, but still not a very good game. There was an exploit found that allows you to place multiple crystals into one temple, essentially. Where you place it and then like cancel something and then just leave and then come back and place another one in the same spot, which lets you avoid one of the later temples, because all the game cares about is that you place all of the crystals. It just gives them all a link. It's like, okay, you have to place all of these, but it doesn't care where they're placed. So if you can trick it into taking a crystal for one temple, but not like realize that it did, you can just place another one there.
That sounds like an insanely useful exploit, especially in Zelda 2, which I wouldn't go as far as to say it's not a very good game, but it is an exceptionally brutal game.
Yeah, definitely brutal is a very good word for it. So that's led to some recent world records. I don't think it's saved a huge amount of time, but it's definitely caused multiple new world records stemming from that. So
if it's caused multiple time cuts, multiple records, then it may not save a ton of time, but it saved enough apparently.
Yeah, it looks like it saved something around, shoot. Oh, this man's a teacher. Where are all his PR videos?
Oh man, you gonna call out a fellow teacher like that?
Yeah, shocking. I would not use the same YouTube channel to give lectures and post speedruns, but you know, you do you, man. It looks like it saved a fair bit of time, something in the realm of like 5 minutes, so not insignificant by any means.
If you told me I could play Control and save 5 minutes, I'd do it.
Yeah. And last but not least, there was a new Toad's Turnpike task, ending up with a fast lap time of 0.01 seconds.
You know, at this, we're gonna turn into Summoning Salt 2 at this point. Well, this Mario Kart, mate, they just keep on giving stuff to talk about.
They really do. There's been so much happening in Mario Kart lately, and it's a community I feel like with a fair number of ties to the elite. So,
which one of the Mario Kart task wizards pulled this off?
I want to say it was Weatherton. Don't quote me on that. Let me.
That's my guy.
I want to say that. I could be wrong.
Listen,
where's the post?
464 is also my guy. However, I was hoping you'd say Weatherton, just because, I mean, Weatherton's a cool name to say, in my opinion.
It is a cool name to say. I could totally be lying. Let me find it. Hold up. Task. Here it is. No, Forrest did it.
Well, that's my guy though, so you know, it's I don't know why what kind, I don't know what kind of surname 464 is. You think that's from Ireland or what?
Dude, I couldn't tell you. My favorite thing about this video is that it's only 4 seconds long. It pretty much just shows like the time and then it just stops. It's so good.
It just start playing like the do like when you cross the lap and just cuts in the middle of it.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I got a laugh out of it when I originally watched it. That's exactly how I would have trimmed the video if I had done it.
Okay, listen. I want to, before we continue on, just in the comments, post what you guys think will be the next Mario Kart 64 shortcut or trick found for the next episode, because I'm sure we'll be talking about one.
Yeah, probably. Wouldn't surprise me if something was set as we were talking here tonight. Okay, moving on. Person of the pod, you picked this one out. Go ahead and take it away.
Person of the pod's going to be Swiss.
Swiss rolls himself.
The beanie-wearing legend himself of both games. A fellow, rare rank specialist such as yourself, just killing it in both realms. I think, pretty sure we're rocking 5K plus on both. Let's just verify that really quick. Yes, indeed. 4th place on the Ray Rings. One of 5 people rocking the current 10K right now. So, insane player, insane mate, and I always love to check when I'm streaming, see the viewer list, and I see my boy Swiss having a lurk. Don't know if he's at work or whatever he's doing, but I know he's I know whatever he's watching the screen, and know he's supporting the boys. So shout out to Swiss.
Yeah, I think there's still a picture of Swiss on my speedrun wiki page. For whatever reason. I don't remember who put it there. The caption's just unrelated photo of Swiss.
I mean, I don't have a page, but I too think I would want an unrelated picture of Swiss.
We'll make you a page. It's just Pauli when there's just that picture of Swiss, and that's it.
It's just a picture of Swiss.
That's no text. It's just the picture. All right.
I prefer it with no context, so I think that's good.
True. Okay, so some little bit of Q&A here. Another question from our boy Frosty, Frosty of the Hops. Underground grinds that you think are happening right now.
Okay, well, as mentioned before, I would think that Flechr is booted up like the Crash Site PA. I would think that. I don't know. Speaking of Frost, I don't know if I could classify thinking that he's underground, grinding for Frigate 58 when I would bet my whole livelihood that that's what he's doing.
Yeah, I would 100% say Frosty's been on the 58 train.
So that probably classifies as I know is happening instead of I think, even though I don't have any evidence.
Mm-hmm.
But that's an argument for you to make, not me. So because I'm going with that. Outside of that, I mean, I know Callie's covered up with school, but even if he wasn't, I would think that he'd obviously be playing like Surface 1 or something of that nature. Something absurd as only Callie W could pull off. I do think that see, here's the thing. I would think underground that BK's probably hunting for something big, but the problem is there's so many options that I wouldn't feel confident picking just one.
Yeah.
So, but mark my words, probably hunting for something.
Yeah. LD's been pretty quiet lately. I imagine he's busy doing other things, but I could totally see him quietly trying to get the Slay on Defense Essay.
Yeah, he's been dabbling in the the Super Metroid world.
Mm-hmm.
However, it is Lake Demon, and he is quiet by nature. So if I woke up tomorrow and he just like posted the Defense Slay, I wouldn't be like, oh wow, I'm stunned. I'd be like, yeah, that's about right. So, definitely could see that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think.
Do you think anybody else in the GE side of things would be hunting something?
Another one of those quiet players is our boy Austin H. Antler. I think he's been a little quiet there on the dam hunt. He's spent a lot of time in his career playing damn Double O.
I could see that. Let's see. What does he have right now in damn Double O?
He's chilling
Do you
on
know off the top of your
157.
head?
He achieved it earlier this year.
Because I know. Let me see. Because he posted sometimes in the semi-recent future, and by future I mean past. So, because he posted 107, I don't know, Bunker 100
Yesterday.
which Bunker 100 107. Know you're a big fan of that one. And then that damn 157 was November 29th. So again, not that long ago. This may be one of the bursts that we see Antler. He'll do these runs, right, where he just like over the course of like a month, he's like, I'll post like 5-6 times. But the thing is, it's Antler, so they're all like really good.
Mm-hmm.
If he dropped like, if he dropped the hammer, if he dropped the big one, again, fear the deer, as I've always said, especially during league. So he's great. So I would not be surprised at all.
I'm curious what our boy Oscar has been up to. He's been quiet now for a couple months.
My boy Oscar Pel, I'm not even going to try to say it, but you know who I'm talking about.
I could see him. He got S2 Agent 46 as his last PR. I could see him potentially trying to get 47 on SA.
See, so let's see. February 2020, April 2020, May, July. Yeah, we're about due if you punch the numbers like that. So maybe as the words are leaving our lips, he'll just post S2 47.
Yeah, I just keep clicking over just to expect to just see it pop up in my feed.
I just keep hitting F5 over and over again. Like, come on!
Do it. You won't, you coward. Anything else? I mean, there's always anything and everything. I mean, plenty of mystery men on the rankings. People seem to like hoarding these days, so there could be literally anything going on.
Yeah, the paradigm has definitely shifted where, hoarding is definitely more of a fun thing to do that most people are into. So,
and it makes people watch your runs. Which sounds petty, but
I don't know about that. Mate, my let's see, I was getting like 3 views on the reg dog. I don't know if anyone's watching.
All right, and another question. This one posed by our boy QWERTY, who's like been another good person to just randomly ask. Preferred pasta shape.
Okay, so this is gonna have a little pre and post diagnosis caveat slapped on it because
Noted.
Before I was having wheat processing issues. My absolute favorite was getting tortellini. Love tortellini. It was amazing. However, I haven't found or really haven't looked that hard for like some tortellini that was lacking in wheat. So lately, what I've been getting is these rotini noodles made out of ground up red lentil, actually, and those are pretty good. I do miss my tort. Oh man, I love the tortellini with the red sauce and a little bit of garlic bread, and if I'm feeling feisty, like some meatballs. But because I've recently had I've had wheat intolerance, I literally can't have anything I just said. So
yeah,
I have to remix it a little bit. So I guess in current life, I'm gonna have to go with the rotini and the penne noodles that I've been working on recently.
I'm a farfalle man myself. The classic bow tie.
it's hard to go wrong with the bow tie because it's so versatile. You know.
It's like it is the best pasta for a fork. It is so good with a fork, man. It picks up so easy. You can get a bunch of them on the fork at once. Like, it just works.
Insanely efficient. Can be used for pasta or pasta salad or any number of other things. I like versatility in my cookware. So big fan of the.
I'm pretty boring. My when I tend to do pasta, it's just butter and words have escaped me. Butter and Parmesan is typically all I go with, but it's good stuff. Occasionally, if I'm feeling fancy, I'll sprinkle in some feta cheese as well.
Another classic favorite. I love feta cheese. I get my red sauce and I like a bit of ground turkey, some chopped onion and a little bit of celery. I love celery and whenever it's appropriate to use. Like I really do like celery. It's great. So and you got to have the fresh basil, of course. Basil's incredible.
A lot of food talk in this one. Apples and pasta.
Yeah, it's like food, like cooking. So that's it's a delicious hobby of mine for sure.
I've tried to get a bit more into it, but unfortunately my life has gone back into whatever is convenient. So, because I spend so much time not able to cook.
Oh yeah, just on the way home, just bang out the drive-thru. Just be like, "I'll have that." Yes.
It's too easy. Too easy.
They should really make fast food hard food. Make it hard to get.
Yeah, make me fight for a little bit. Maybe I'd be less likely to do it.
Just disencourage it. Make it slow food, or make it look like, oh, we got a 15-minute wait. Just be like, I can't wait, and you just leave.
Yeah, it definitely hurts. I'm like a 5-minute drive away from like Culver's, Steak and Shake, Wendy's, Taco Bell. If you're into it, McDonald's, Burger King. There's a Subway there too. Like, it's just all right there. It's too damn easy to get to, honestly.
I didn't know they had all that in Finland.
Oh, they do, and that's just on this side of town. The other side of town has all of the most of those things again. There's another Wendy's, Taco Bell, McDonald's, Burger King. There's a KFC down on my end as well. On the other end, there's also Chipotle, Five Guys, Chick-fil-A, Panera, Panda Express if you're into that. What else is over there? I mean, there's a ton here. And there's rumors. Rumors that we're gonna get a Cane's soon, a Raising Cane's.
They better not. Listen, if they got Raising Cane's, you gonna be there a couple times.
I lived very close to one in Columbus, so that's some good chicken.
Love me some Cane's. Let's see here. We got Panda Express is trash. Who said that? Anyway, that was weird.
That was weird.
Love me some food though.
True. All right. I think we're about ready to wrap it up. We need that trivia answer though.
Right. Okay. So, remind me what your guess was again?
My guess was Boss and Ace.
So, the two people who have 58 of 60 or 61 of 63, depending on your perspective, was PA Perfect Ace, but also PA Paragon.
Yeah.
So you weren't too far off because Boss has 56, where Ace Paragon has 58. So you had, again, fair guess. Like, you had the right idea, but we're just a little bit short.
Let me see what boss is all missing. G5SA, Airbase PA, Deep Sea ASA. See, I would have expected only the Deep Seas due to lack of PAL, but
He's only gated out of 2 of them due to PAL. So, because he obviously got the PA one.
yeah. Almost shocking he didn't get SA back in the day. I wonder if I look at not all time. I want all world records G5, and he got 40 and 59 on PA on back-to-back days. What was the world record on SA at the time? Looks like it was 47 by YE. Almost shocking he didn't try to complete the record tie sweep then.
That kind of is surprising, especially knowing what Boss is all about. So
Yeah, he had a couple months before Carl jumped in and untied it to 45. Interesting.
that was the time where I mean, it was Boss's playground. He could do what he wanted.
Yeah, indeed. Well, speaking of playgrounds, it's oh, did you have something else to say?
I guess when you have 121 playgrounds, it's hard to pick one.
This is true, quite true. I don't remember what my segue was going to be. It probably wasn't a good one. So we'll just pretend it never happened. And
Tim, what now?
exactly. I think we're good to go. So any closing statements, or are we good to wrap it up?
I think we'll go on and wrap it up. We'll just say, everybody good. Be good. Be safe.
Don't be stupid.
Warm. Good luck. Yeah. Well, I know you can't promise anything on that, but try. Good luck on the runs, and from me, Flechr 27. Goodbye forever.
And goodbye forever from me, Mr. Pauliwood.